this growing threat of almost agent crime.
Deepfakes are so prevalent, and frankly,
Yes.
deepfakes are not new. They've just become more easy to create because there's companies like ElevenLabs comes to mind. So if you go to ElevenLabs.com, you can create a clone of just anybody's voice. And the problem there is the consenting mechanisms don't
Right.
exist right now. Um, so when it comes to creating avatars, like you were talking about earlier, Albert, our provider that we use, we're required before we submit a custom avatar, which what that means is that we can create a digital replica of any living consenting human being. We are the person who that digital replica represents. Before they record their video to be processed for the digital replica creation, they must consent. So as a part of the video recording, the initial part of that recording is them reading out a line saying that they consent to have a digital replica created of them. That doesn't really exist in voice. So I think what's kind of going viral right now is Vice President J.D. Vance talking smack
I heard
about
about that
Elon
this
Musk,
morning. Yeah.
how he's from South Africa, and he's just he's a fake American leader, or something to that effect. I'm not gonna give it any more of my attention, but I'm simply bringing up as a point of how easy it is to create a vocal impersonation of somebody. And then when you get into using voice AI systems like White Glove AI has, we can do upwards of 10,000 calls simultaneously. We can handle them inbound or we can send them outbound. I can imagine making 10,000 calls at the same time, right? And I have a exact clone of Albert's voice, which is a very unique voice. So it's hard to it's hard to impersonate, but it's also hard not to say that, hey, that's Albert's voice, right? Because it's unique.
They'll never
So
get
I
me.
can make a
They'll never get me.
they'll
They'll
ne-
never.
I can make a replica of your voice in ElevenLabs, load it into my account, go to our voice AI system, load your voice in, make 10,000 calls. Imagine that.
Well,
That's
I'm
the
just thinking
problem.
on the crime side, right? So, okay, it has vision, it has memory, it has voice, it can replicate people's voice, it can now avatar, right? And now we're building our own, right? We have Gloria, we have a Nick, we have a Jason now, we have an Albert, Sam. We're gonna get a Sam avatar if she consents. Uh, so, I mean, these agents, this technology can replicate someone that you love and trust, but it's not really them. And so
Yeah,
we've talked about it on different shows on having code words, right? But when you
yeah,
see, there's just something about when you see it, you hear it, there's an emotional gravitation, especially it's someone that you trust.
yeah.
Or you're a new team member and your CEO comes on the line, sets up a Google Meet or Zoom with you, and you really think it's them. I mean, that's where we're going.
We are.
So how do we, Jason, thoughts on this? Like, how do we
No, I
protect
think
ourselves?
this is one of the double-edged sword of technology and innovation. Is it is going to unlock so much potential for good, but the fraudsters, the criminals, they're going to find their ways in order to try to dupe people. I mean, we got a email from the state of Texas saying, "Hey, you've got this bill to pay," or it was actually a proper letter, and it looked professional. We called the comptroller's office, and it was a fake. So this is something that's going to continue to happen, and you've got to be on guard. And it's going to get much more sophisticated. It's going to get much more looking professional and well done because it's so easy now with AI to be able to build that. And it's going to cause a lot more cyber attacks and fraud examples where you're going to have to be able to start taking advantage of, or the people are going to start trying to take advantage of that with you. So you've
Right.
really got to be able to start being more mindful of that as you start seeing some of these coming in.
Yeah, and the one place I would say that we need to be focusing on deeply, number one is identity, and number two is the authentication of that identity. Authentication needs to change. Right now, when I walk up to you, Albert, I'm authenticating you. Like if we were in person, I'm
Sure.
authenticating you to say, hey, is this the real Albert? Does this look like the previous forms of Albert I've seen? Does it sound like Albert? We do authentication all the time. It's just it feels like such a big, inaccessible technical term, but it's a very simple concept. You're just
Mhm.
making sure who you're talking to is actually the person you intend to talk to or who they purport to be. So I think identity is number one and authentication is number